Hi family, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I'm OYOKO, but you could call me V. And today I have a friend with me today, Tommaso, TEMPO TEP, who is a music producer. So I want to center this video around our journeys as well as just how it is as a artist, as someone that is working in the creative industries, how you can thrive and survive in a city like London. So before we do all of that, Tommaso, can you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Sure. Hello everyone, or hello family, like OYOKO says. So let's start again.
I'm gonna cut this out. It's fine.
Cut this. Okay.
Let's do this.
So I'm Italian. I come from Italy. I come from Varese. It's a little city where nothing much is happening apart from a lot of dangerous things and illegal stuff. But basically, it's a little city that always push out a lot of artists, a lot of creative people. Also because the situation is very dull. But yeah, it's a paradox, but it happens that way. And I could name a few, just Andrea Ravo-Mattoni, which is a very, very big graffiti artist. He's worked in Louvre, in France, you know, and in other places, all around the world, really. But basically having some other people before me sort of going into another country and, you know, telling their experiences in a way sort of inspired me to do the same, because I was feeling very oppressed where I was living. And I would feel that, particularly in music and sound, technically and creatively speaking, I don't know if you can say that, sorry if I make some mistake, guys, but it's definitely something you want to sort of explore, you know, if you're an artist. So yeah, I moved from Varese to London without knowing English at all. I didn't know.
I didn't even know that.
No, I didn't know a single word of English. Right now, I'm kind of going with it. You know, I can communicate, but it's not perfect yet, unless I'm writing it and just checking it back.
When did you move exactly? What year was this?
So the first year was 2011. So it was a long time ago, and I just came here to learn English, to work, to find any job. I worked as a prep chef, you know, I was doing all kinds of jobs just to get some money to pay the, you know, the room I was living in Wood Green. I still remember that room was crazy, and it was, the landlord was actually a very, very famous artist, Tom Baxter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was a coincidence, but it happened. We happened to become really good friends, and then he sort of basically warned me on what to expect, what not to expect in the music industry, and how tricky it was, but that it would be a very hard path to take, because it take so many sacrifices, you know, and so many hours spent on trying to figure out how to make it into another country, you know. And you know, back in the days, this was all a dream, you know. It would seem very big and impossible to reach, and I had the language barrier, so you know, I couldn't express myself as an artist, as somebody that used art as a tool to express themselves. It was really hard to sort of come through. You know, having as well, like, my upbringing was really hard. I'm not gonna extend it here a lot, but you know, I suffer from panic attacks and other things, you know. And I sort of overcome all of that by myself, and with the help of some people I was trying to surround myself with. So I would attract all these artists, all these musicians, all these weird, crazy, beautiful people in a way, because I'm weird too, you know. I don't know what to expect from me either sometimes, and then I feel like every artist feels that way inside. So yeah, I just come here. I studied English. I did this first work, and then I went to university. I decided a year after that experience, I went back to Italy actually for 1 year. I kept studying English. I kept studying the IELTS test because that's what you need if you're a foreigner. You need the IELTS test. And you need a certain entry level, which I think is 6.5 if it hasn't changed yet.
I don't know.
Yeah, so sign that down. So you need the IELTS test, and then you can move into a university. So through UCAS and all of that, you can move to a university and then pick whatever you are very good at. In my case, it was music. I was already doing it, you know, since I was like 14 years old. There was the hip hop, you know, the 90s, you know, we can call in J Dilla, NBIG, Tupac, all these names. We've grown up with these guys, you know, and in my situation, my influence, especially the friends were, some of them were punk, skater, rock and roll kind of vibe, you know, and things like that. And some others were like very electronic imprinted, very bass music imprinted, very much of a different background. So being completely lost in a way helped me, because I didn't know where I was belonging to, but I could feel all of this energy coming through, and I could understand what the artist was trying to convey, you know, in the music, and I could read it. I could see just that. That was just my what I could see back then, you know, and so I just picked it.
Did you get into contact with these artists through your housemates then at the time? So, because you mentioned that you were living with an artist.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just traveling a bit around, but basically, the story goes like this. So I met. Can I do names?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Can I make names?
I mean, well, it depends if they are happy to have their name shared in this video. Depending on how.
I mean, I haven't asked, but
yeah, it's up to you.
Anyway, I mean, yeah, there's I think he'll be alright with this. Tom Baxter, he's a great musician. I mean, go look it up yourself. I don't need to tell you anything about him. Definitely, I don't need to sponsor him. He's good enough. Somebody's coming in. Let's do it.
Okay, we are back. As you know, there's a change in scenery. I'm at a different place now. Tommaso's friend, I don't know if I can mention his name, but he was kind.
On the stage is checking us up.
He was kind enough to, share his space with us so we can record this video today. So there might be some background noise. So yeah, just so you know. Yeah. Well, let me just give you a question and then we go from there. Yeah. So what made you decide to move to London to, propel your creative career? Did you already have something in mind when you were in Italy and then decided, let me go to London and then, perfect my skill there? Or were you completely you were still figuring out what that was? So,
as I said before,
Wait, so 2 questions.
Yeah.
So the first one, if you already knew what you wanted to do and then decided to move to London, and then why you chose to move to London to pursue your creative career.
Right. So answering the first question. Yeah. Answering the first question, I'd say at the beginning I wouldn't know. All I knew is that when I was performing on stage, when I was singing, rapping, and producing music and doing the things I wanted to do, and I was feeling like it was my kind of element, my environment, something I can speak, I can almost touch. I would only know that was working for me when I was finishing the activity I was doing, whether it would be singing, rapping, producing, blah, blah, playing. I'll be feeling good and I'll be feeling inspired to do more. So I think it all started from there. I didn't really like much studying back in the days, didn't really much opening books. I would feel like it wasn't really what I had to spend the time on, I thought I had to spend the time on stuff that would be just good for me and for other people, inspire other people as well. And some years later, we've seen Inspire Be Inspired happening, where I created.
All of this happened in Italy then?
No, this happened. I mean, I'm talking about 2011, which is when this experience started.
Okay.
So it's in between Italy and London. So it's in between the time I'm deciding to go to London and pursue this thing that I was feeling, sort of thing, and then knowing as well that would have been sacrifices all over the place, and then I would know that my parents weren't necessarily, particularly my father wouldn't agree at the beginning because he doesn't know music, doesn't know this kind of stuff, but all of that wouldn't matter, you know, because when you have that kind of vocation, you kind of have to go follow it. And then later on in life, maybe take it down a notch so you can kind of step out and see it in different ways. But yeah.
So how did you deal with it initially? Was your mother supportive of where you were heading towards, like when it comes to creativity, expressing yourself?
Yes, absolutely. My mom was always more supportive. My parents separated, so as you can imagine, there would be two different realities happening in my family. And my father always been supportive of me because, you know, I've always been creative in a way. It's always been the only thing I would be really good at, you know, if it was art, academic art, or anything, you know, that entails some kind of input, you know, some kind of pioneering energy, you know, some kind of even contagious at times, you know. You would see that it will be contagious, you know, like with other people, especially people similar to you, sensitive, that would pick up this kind of stuff more than others, right? Because for some people this is not very important. It's like music, it's I don't know,
just like
you know.
a hobby, maybe.
Yeah. For me, it was a need. It was a need. I had so much intense things going on that I needed this to sort of express myself, to you know, to let it go, to let it fly.
Yeah. Okay, so so what ended up then between you and your dad, if you want to share that, or did he?
No, I mean,
does he still disapprove, or is it like, okay, he's doing well, so now?
He's been clear at the beginning. It was like, I'm not going to help you financially if you're doing this. So I had to work on myself, and I had to work doing sometimes up to 3 jobs, you know, at times to pay everything, especially after university without the students' finance and accommodation, you know, like. There has been some really struggling times.
Okay.
At the beginning, you know, when I first come to London, I went to live. I was in my sister's flat because we couldn't really afford like a house or a room each. You know, like at the beginning, obviously you know how it goes. But you know, whether you're a student or just out of your family bubble, you're gonna struggle. You're going to struggle, you know, there's no other way around, and that struggle is gonna create you and mold you into what you're supposed to be, I think, you know. So I feel a lot more myself now, and I feel a lot more more capable of expressing myself now than before. For example, with words, I might not be very good at it, but if we talk about music, we can get really intimate, you know. You can express certain things that you wouldn't be able to do with words, and that's why art is there to me. To me, you know, if you ask that question, art it's a tool that you use. Doesn't matter. It doesn't really have bad, good, a shape or a form or a rule. You know, there's nobody that can say I'm not making art or I'm making art. You know, if you think you're making art, you're making art. It's just that, really. I don't really struggled think too much about that.
Okay. Then another thing that I wanted to touch on was when you moved to London, and you know, you're with your sister, you're trying to figure things out. Now looking back, what are things that you observed and learned and learned that you wish you knew before going, you know, at the very beginning?
So yeah, that's a good question. There's plenty of things I kinda regret looking back. if I have to be honest. For example, one of those is that I should have thought about having the minimal equipment, necessary equipment before even starting something like this. Because
what do you mean by equipment?
By equipment, I mean the actual equipment, as in for a music producer, you need the
Okay.
headphones, you need a laptop, you need this, you need that. And I just had ideas. So it took a while before I had the money to get even all of that started off. I mean, that definitely takes time. So definitely have some money away. That would have been great, which I didn't. But, I sort of worked my way as I was working it,
Yeah.
So yeah, that I would definitely tell, and equipment as well, as in do not have many expectations and work with what you got more than trying to achieve something you have in your head, because the two are very similar but different at the same time, as in when you want to work on something you want, an expectation, say, the way you get there is that you don't really see what's around you. Sometimes you are a bit blinded, as you're a bit like tunnel vision. That's what they call it here, tunnel vision. So don't have that tunnel vision so much, because that can create some kind of blockage the way you see other, and then you absorb art as well from other artists and people. So I definitely be humble, less arrogant. I would definitely tell that to myself, and it's something I always remind even today to myself. And that's is the first step in order to be open-minded, really, isn't it? Like, just be humble.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. See what you got, and that's it.
What about finding a community? Was it easy to find like fellow producers, fellow music producers, or people that just work in the music industry that are sound engineers and like, other professions? Or did you seek support, or what was that process like? Or did you actually do everything on your own, like, focusing on yourself so you can be amongst those people?
So starting from the fact that every artist, I think, tends to take itself very seriously. I can say that I was thinking almost like I wasn't worth yet the attention of anybody. Maybe this is because it's a bit of insecurity, because you go in another country and maybe you're not sure of what your skills are yet, or how you can push them through, or who can even see that, and touch it. My insecurity didn't let me to really reach out for help, and I really took some time as well to get some results, financially, you would say, as well, because of that kind of insecurity. But it wasn't really because of my work. It was bad because everywhere around me, all the artists, even even in university, all the teachers, and they were complimenting me. They were like, this is good stuff, this is amazing, but inside I wouldn't feel ready to just give life to my vision, like I had this massive expectation. So that kind of swam against me in a way, I felt like a bit of a salmon at some point in London. But that's also what I was craving, the hunger grows, and then you start meeting people, and then when you talk about this topic or musically, your eyes brighten up, the lights comes through, and people sees that, like, so eventually some help came in, eventually some help came in, but I didn't really look outside. So to a younger self, I would definitely say, don't be ashamed, just go do it, just go grab it. Nobody's gonna give it to you. Do it. Like OYOKO is doing it here. So yeah. Yeah.
You know what? Because I moved to London in 2017, and for me, it was quite hard to find my peers. I didn't know where to go. I ended up going to spoken word, nights, and trying to perform there and meet like-minded people that are artists themselves, people that are writers. And that's how I slowly, I wouldn't say got in the scene, but slowly found more opportunities because of the people that I met during these evenings. But I still find it really hard looking back. It was really difficult for me to find a community where I could say, you know, where do I need to be? Like, I want to do this. How do I do this?
Reality, right?
Exactly. There are so many, and especially London. London is such an expensive city. So if you ever decide to pursue your dreams, career, whatever it is,
be ready to be poor.
Well, yeah, or work multiple jobs. Work multiple jobs, because I was so surprised that the people that I, you know, looked up to.
For a little bit, right?
I mean, you need to hustle, but
need to have the time to spend in your art.
You need to make time. You need to make time, even if you're working 2-3 jobs. When you get home completely exhausted, that's the same time you need to invest your time in art. You know, you need to invest time in your artistry, in the moments that you actually need to rest. And I think that's also kind of toxic, and it perpetuates this narrative that an artist needs to struggle.
Yeah,
I guess it depends from
it doesn't need, but it happens.
It doesn't.
To be because the society is, sorry.
Yeah.
I think everybody struggles. It's not that an artist need to struggle.
Yeah.
It's just everybody is an artist in a way. Art is a tool of express. Not everybody can express themselves. Not everybody can tap into that and express it as in that way. But everybody is an artist, you know. So,
but I mean, everybody is an artist. But if they take the time to, you know, perfect their artistry, or to develop and create an environment,
and you become yourself.
You know, you need to explore that
of how they like to portray it nowadays.
Yeah, but you need to explore it. You know, you can be an artist, but if you don't really know what your talent is, or you know how to make it profitable, for instance, especially in a country like the UK and London, that's so saturated, I guess, when it comes to the creative industries. There's so many incredibly talented artists out there that you need to find a way to differentiate yourself, you know. So you need to be on your game. You need to do lots of self-promo, which I had problems with. I didn't know how to introduce myself or introduce my art. It was really hard to say, oh, I do this, you know, because many people that I met who are artists, I met them through all these nights, like spoken word evenings or other, you know, events, or I met them at their part-time jobs. Hospitality, you know, they were all working in hospitality because they need to get by. So it was funny to meet all these people in these, you know, settings. So I think that's what I wanted to just add on.
I think I want to add something to that. It's really interesting that you say that, because it happened the same thing to me when I was working for AYS, which is like a catering company, you know, and I was doing art and working in catering. I'll be seeing like certain people that like we would follow each other, you know, on social media, whatever, on YouTube. We would see like each other's stuff. We would be like, "You're so good! Like, you know, this should be your profession. Like, you have a talent for this. You have, and when you do it, you see other people wanting to do it, and that's the sign that you gotta do it. When you do something and you inspire people to do the same, you find your bit, you find your place in your field. I think that might take some time, and that might take some falling, you know, on your knees.
Yes, lots of falling, failing forward, failing, falling.
F's here and there.
But I wouldn't say like, oh, I am now at the place that I want to be. I am still growing. I'm still trying to, you know, perfect my craft. I'm still trying to meet new people. There's definitely I don't know if that's the same thing with you, but I realized that networking is so incredibly important. I was more like, I need to find a few people to work with and focus on creating music and creating art and do what I love. And then go to these nights, and then people see me, and that's it. But it's more than that. It's really about creating connections, creating network.
It's a collective synergy that you don't even sometimes realize. Because I think there's a lot of we are synergic beings, you know, like I mean, it's not me saying, I'm not a scientist or biologist, but if you go look it up, you see that we actually need oxygen from plants, you know, and yada yada. So because we live in synergy, there's something that not a lot of people are aware of, which is like, I think, the energy that you bring into every moment, every present moment, you know. And then as an artist, that's a responsibility that you should really be aware of, you know. Then almost when you're doing art, you kind of forget all of that. You kind of forget yourself, and you just let you be the vessel, you be the art, and sort of you just turn on all your sensories and then let them speak for you. You know, that's it.
I guess what I want to, you know, touch on as well is being an artist is not only, you know, you in the process of creating constantly, but it's also being able to do multiple things at the same time. You're the one that is creating the art, but also selling the art, trying to sell the concept. I guess it's hard to say, especially when you're starting, or like when you decide to move to a different country, and you don't have anyone. I left my friends, my family, everyone. I left everyone behind, I decided I'm just gonna do this. You know, I don't know what I'm gonna, you know, bump into, who I'm gonna meet. I don't know anything. I just wanna, you know, live the life that I want, and that will involve me going to a different country. And I chose at the time to do it in London because there were so many things happening in London, and I'd never been, and I wanted to live here and meet and create. So it's really hard, I guess, to say like, oh, be wary of all of these things. It's very individualistic, and also very, you know, different to per person.
Face, you know? You gotta hit your face. That's life. You can't expect to have everything smooth. Because also without struggle, there's no results, you know. So I think that it's true that when you struggle, you create some kind of counter energy, isn't it? Like, you're like, I'm here at the moment, but I'm so hungry, I'm striving to get better, you know. So that energy actually is really useful to create, you know, the creative energy. So.
Lots of people struggle, and in most cases you don't see the struggle. You see the highlights, you see the moments that they are winning, that they have success. You don't see all the things that they've done, the sleepless nights, the you know, crying about certain things because they lost their hard drive or whatever. You don't see all of these things, so it's hard to say like I mean, or like
happened, right? Like, you can tell.
Or something crashed, you know, your whole drive crashed, and then everything is gone.
Your sister just drove, you know, over your laptop, and you didn't have any backups because you were poor back in the days in uni. It happened. I burned about 400 tracks, I think, back in the days. About 400.
400.
My sister, we were in Portugal. I brought my laptop. You know, I was like, I'm gonna produce because, you know, I'm always nerding out. I'm gonna produce, you know, while there's some breaks. And then I had the brilliant idea to bring the laptop in Portugal. And then once we were there, we just sort of left it outside for a second, and my sister decided to turn the car and just drive on it. And I lost all my work, everything. It's been a crazy journey. It's been a crazy journey. I've broken equipment, I've broken stuff, and I had to redo things from the beginning so many times. But at the end of the day, all of that, it doesn't matter, because the content comes and goes, but you stay there, right? Like, you develop, you evolve. So all of those experiences, like, they're not lost. Like, the time that you spend producing and doing the tracks, it was effective, you know. And then you can see it now. Like, before, for example, I would be doing like 2 hours, 3 hours for one project. Maybe now in 10 minutes I'm like, boom, I have it, you know. It's there because you feel it. And that's why you work as an artist, to perform, to make that expression just go as quickly as possible, like to feel it and communicate it in the best way for you, with your colors, with your things.
I guess that ties into, you know, people getting paid what they are worth, and the work that they deliver. I feel oftentimes, I don't know, obviously you share your experience later.
It's demoralizing.
Exactly, like, oh, can you create this? Can you do this? But then you are underpaid. You're not being taken seriously for the amount of time and effort that you've put into the craft that that you're trying to build still,
Yeah.
and people just don't consider that oh, it took you 10 minutes
Some
to
people don't consider that.
Okay, some people.
You just have to keep. Sorry.
But it's about rates as well, you know.
Yeah.
It should reflect the amount of time and effort and perfection that you've, or at least like proximity to perfection, to create this new piece for this other person. So the wallet should reflect that and not be like, oh, a couple of hundred, or like, unless you're working with other artists and you know how difficult it is. But quickly to go back, as an artist, it's not only about creating art, it's about doing all these different things, like you're having different roles as well. So, being able to sustain yourself, because in most cases, especially in the beginning, when you create art, you're not getting paid. Like you're doing almost everything for free just to get your name out there.
There is that idea. I think there is that idea outside where people think that the art and music aren't essential, as in they're not like agriculture or science, but they are. They really are. So if you just look into it, you'll find yourself,
Yeah.
I can only tell you my experience, and from my experience, music and the music production in particular, it's a way that I wouldn't give up for anything else in the world, even if I was a farmer, even if I had 5 jobs, or even if I wouldn't earn a single pound, it's just the way I am. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what y'all think. It's just it's just that.
If you could advise someone that is at the very beginning of their journey and wants to come to London to, make it work for themselves, what would you say?
So it's similar to the younger self question, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. The younger version of yourself that's very personal to you. I guess something broad. What I would say is
something broader, you mean?
Yeah, something that's more.
So the good thing. So okay, we complain a lot about London, but there's also good things. Yeah. The good things about
London is so expensive. You really need to work hard and then find time to do what you want, because this city will swallow you up and spit you out if you're not resilient. That's what London has taught me. You need to be resilient, because otherwise it will smash you into pieces, and then you can find your way back to your home country.
Yep. So she basically said it right. But I don't have a problem with hard experiences myself.
You don't?
I don't, because I'm a character that I see the challenge and I want to overcome it. But this is also me. This is, as I'm not showing off, I'm saying I shit my pants when I do that, right? I am like, I expose myself, I try, and it's really scary, but it's not that I hold back, you know what I mean? It's like, I feel the fear, I feel this, I feel that, but I still want to get it, I'm still hungry for it. So it's not about result as in like fame or anything like that. It's just I want to be feeling complete with myself. I want to be feeling like when I feel after, when I'm on stage and I do my things and I sing my song, and after I finish, I'm like, the fulfillments that you feel, the adrenaline, the endorphins, and the inspiration that you see on people's eyes that they look at you, they're like, you feel important in that way. You feel like you have a purpose, and maybe that's your purpose, you don't know. Or maybe that's your purpose, is working on the background a bit more like me at times as a music producer, trying to help people sort of bring their own voice out, so sometimes you don't have to be in the foreground, and it's good that you stay on the background looking, because a lot of people that are in the foreground miss a lot of details, because they're lacking perspective. So I took my time as well to do this, and because I care, not because I wanted an outcome right there and then, or like money or whatever. I've been waiting so long, and I've been trying, and I've been falling, and I've been coming back up, and I've been stopping sometimes as well. I stopped for like 2-3 months, which for me is crazy. Like I almost do everything. No production for like a couple months. I was like, forced myself to be like, wait, let's gain some perspective. I'm becoming too critical of myself. I'm becoming too close to the picture. I'm not seeing right. I'm not feeling right. So, and now I feel so much energy and so much adrenaline and so much stuff is coming out. I am a boiling pot, you know, like it's the feeling is nice. It's overwhelming sometimes, which is I'm struggling with sometimes, but it's, you know, once you're there and you just like almost like vomit it out, and then some people feels like that. You literally took a shit, like you're like, oh, you know what I mean? So there's no better way of describing this. Sorry guys, but you know, so yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. I want to quickly move into the imbalance that we see today.
About women and,
just like, you know, that the obviously with payments, you know, there's a gender pay gap, but also how people, I mean, your, you know, female counterparts, just women, non-binary people that are in the creative industries that are not getting the opportunities that they should, you know, receive, or
people
not getting the or are not getting a recognition, or, you know, the visibility that they deserve. How has your experience been, especially with like production and stuff? Because there are lots of like, you know, female producers, but also I like non-binary producers. But how is that from your perspective? How's that been?
So let's see. Let's break it down. I think from my experience, I'll always see a minority, as in like music producer, DJs, or in the sound business. I always see a minority of, especially on the technical bits, like female, and you know, I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody, so I don't know what kind of words I can use. But everybody else, like, it's all of this, in my experience, is just a standard. How do you say, a label that society puts on the current culture, but it kind of evolves and changes. We see this changing a lot right now, so it's actually good. But only recently, and has been such a struggle, and a lot of people had to speak up. So yeah, I'm trying to keep it generic, you know. But
have you spoken up when you see some things happening, and I'm like, and where you think like, okay, this is like not.
Well, personally, that's why I like to work with my own brand, you know, with my own company and things, because I don't really put any label or any judgment. Or you've been working with me, OYOKO, you know that. So you know, even when I was kid and young, I always had influences from both women and guys, and all the people in general, you know, like a different culture, different backgrounds. Everybody, for me, it's a gift. It's a very curious field to explore, because wherever you see difference, you see potential, at least me. So for me, it's always been like this. So I'm very different from what the society looks at this, or I don't know what do you perceive the society think of this, but I am definitely seeing less people. I'm definitely seeing more men than women in my field, in music production, as music producer. But I'm also saying that is slowly changing, and I think the problem in here is because of communication. There's not like a lot of people, a lot of artists, like music producer, that actually speak up, and like we're doing right now, and tell their own experiences and their own fault and their own success, and speak just in a normal, more kind of humble way, you know. So we just like, we need more of this, and we need more of people listening to this, as in like just an experience of two guys, you know, like trying to really struggle to you know, to go get their own dreams, and to deliver what they think is worth to be delivered, you know. So it's I personally can't see this, because the way I do things, it's my own, you know. So I don't really, I've been working with literally anybody, you name it. I never had, I've always had like very good relationship, and even afterwards, you know. And also because a lot of people put judgment into some certain situation, and the fact that you don't, you're already giving like a massive opening, which will be then seen, because not many people are brave enough to break the ice, to break, you know, because a lot of, say for example, we're in a dinner, we're on a posh dinner, and there's one guy, we're just like with bad clothes, dirty clothes and stuff, but he's saying something really, really clever, really good, and it's got some content, right? And everybody else is not listening to it because there's a stigma on this stuff, right? So that has to be cancelled, you know, and then there's each one responsibility to just sort of go there, see where the threshold there is, and then, you know, cancel it, just like not look at it, or just be like, it doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter what your judgment is. You're gonna come as you are, and then you're gonna bring me what you got, you know, and then that's it.
Yeah. I mean, my own experience is that working as a musician, but also, you know, as a DJ and poet, I suppose, that, I mean, it's very mixed. It's very mixed, but I still see that there is not enough recognition for women, non-binary folk in the creative industry. Is, you know, is getting more attention, which is good. It's getting more visibility. There's a discourse around, you know, gender equality, which is amazing, but we're still not there yet. And I think we all need to contribute to, you know, individually, but also when it comes to corporations, you know, cultural organizations, to work towards a more equal space where people can feel safe. And
it's happening though. I see it happening.
But even when, just with my own experience, like performing and stuff, sometimes I would hear conversations, or like overhear conversations where people are saying, oh, we couldn't find any female artists that could, you know, that we could use for this show, for instance.
Do you think they're more scared nowadays? What they were?
I don't know if they're more scared. I think it's more pushed. So I feel like it's almost, you need to tick off this diversity and inclusion, no quota. Like, you have to make sure that it's diverse. You need to make sure that it's inclusive. You know, you want to.
Yes. Keep going.
Yeah. So I don't think necessarily that people are scared. I guess they're more cautious, but they are trying to meet the standards, and it could also be a facade to, like, you know, push their brand and make it seem that they are doing the right thing, but then behind the scenes it's still very white and male dominated, and not necessarily focused on improving and changing infrastructures, but more like, oh, if we just get someone in that looks like this, then we've given them an opportunity, and then it's okay, you know. So I guess there's more work.
It's a bit of a problem, that one, because I mean, you don't have control over that, do you? We don't. We can only give the example, you know. We can only be there and doing the right thing now. So you know, I wouldn't be able to say, to give some actual example of times where I've seen that the woman was treated or given less, because I have never been in that situation. I know there is.
Yeah,
I know there is. I know there is. And I've seen. But one thing I can say that I see, women that has to struggle a little bit more still.
A little.
No, but in well, a little or a lot, it depends on the situation, right? Some will struggle less, some will struggle more. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you know.
There are intersections, it's not only because they are, you know, let's say a woman in the industry that's trying to.
But not every woman struggle. You know what I mean? It's just it's just in like the obviously.
All of that comes together.
But that's culture. That's, you know, that this is like. This is a cultural problem.
I mean, it's a societal problem, but, you know, we still need to address that is still happening. That women are still being harassed in
Of
these
course,
spaces.
of
There's
course,
still
of
a
course.
power imbalance because of the dynamics of oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Because of working in a male-dominated space, you see that there is the dynamic is so different. So people often think, okay,
But
I
do you think
can.
is a male, like, do you think, I'm talking about the music industry, okay?
Yeah.
Myself, because that's what I know. Do you think this industry is still nowadays that much affected by it?
Yes, 100%, 100%. You often see power abuse later on, so not necessarily when it's
At the
happening,
beginning.
but you know,
Yeah.
even when I started,
That's what I'm
even when I
saying, yeah.
started, like trying to find a producer to work with, many people that I approached and like started the journey with, who were all male, used the opportunity to do completely something else, you know, not necessarily about the work. They would say, "Oh, come work with me,"
But they
and then we
weren't
could.
professional, right? They weren't.
I mean, yeah, but they see the imbalance
Somebody
there.
that is
Obviously,
looking
there's a
at-
power imbalance because I need your service to do what I want. That's
Right.
one. Two, you know, they are asserting themselves, asserting themselves because, you know, I am a woman that is working.
Experience on this. Definitely, I don't have the same experiences because I'm a man, and that should tells you already something, right? So she is.
There are
making a point
many
with that,
privileges there already. Just even if you're unaware of them, there's so many privileges there already. I'm not saying that you know,
But
because
I can
of
also
that.
say, like somebody that is, unfortunately for society, somebody that's like a very beautiful girl, like even if it doesn't have skills, they'll be there just because it looks great on camera.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
And that is wrong both ways. So it's not just like woman or males. Is the ego is the problem, right? Is the individualistic kind of mind where I'm like, what I want, what I can get from this situation, from this person right now. And I don't worry about anything else anymore. You know, it's that kind of mentality, that kind of approach that is toxic a bit. Because it's not like we build things together. It's more like, oh, you do this, I'll take it, and I leave, you know, and I will never meet again. So there's no connection, there's no relationship, there's no building up or anything.
Yeah.
Like, so I've never really worked and put myself in those conditions. That's why I'm independent, because I don't want to listen to that kind of stuff and be directed in the way I do things, because it's really important that you have control over that. You know, that's another thing I would say. Have control over your own art.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
control. Find a platform or places where you can express yourself, realities, people, surround yourself with similar people, you know, in places where you can do what you're supposed to be doing without feeling ashamed, because not everywhere you can go and rap, not everywhere you can go and dance, you know, so you know, you've got to find your own reality, and London's good because it has this little reality that might be in your city, that might be in your own little bubble. Here, it's a word, so you will find your own reality. You know, that's something I was saying. I was speaking about it with Albi the other day, which is in the background working right now. By the way, great art is Albi. See, we've got the pictures and his artwork on our back. Do
you wanna say something about the artwork? We're going all places. I'm sorry. We're
we're
going all. But yeah, this is his work behind. I'll probably like show some work afterwards so you can actually look at it. But it looks really nice.
But going back to it, I mean, surround yourself with people like that are similar to you, with your own same mindset, and feed off each other. Like, don't be ashamed of being yourself, being weird, or being like, you know what I mean? Just like most of the time, those things that we most hide are the most precious. So even if it's something, a trait of your character you don't particularly like, or just cherish everything, you know, and also do yoga, do yoga.
And hold each other accountable when you see things happening. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but that's what I've been doing. Like, the minute I see strange behavior, or the minute I see that people are getting a certain treatment, I call it out, or I stop working with certain people, because it's yeah, as you said, it's I mean, it's toxic. It's you know, very individual to individual, but it's also a system. We all perpetuate. If you move in silence, or if you see something, you witness something, and you don't say anything, you're complicit, then that's exactly. Things are happening within your, you know, in your vision, in your presence.
Like, you have to pick your battles. There's too many battles. Like one thing I saw when I grow up is that there's so many things going wrong in the world that, you know, I mean, you can't just like think about everything. But what you can do is, by being yourself with your skill set, just come and try to do your best, you know, to give some inspiration, something, you know, just bring yourself, bring your true self with it. Don't bring me another copy of Justin Bieber or Stormzy or I'm not. Justin Bieber, we love you. Oh my God! It's the most hated person.
You can still be influenced by these artists, and then it could come and seep through your art. Like you know, I'm not saying be the, you know, a replica of the artist that you admire, but yeah, as we were talking about gender imbalance, I think do what you can to make sure that those things do not happen within your field of vision. Obviously, when it comes to the
control over it,
and some people don't have control, so then you give up your control, or you know, pass down the power, or you recognize the privileges that you have and step back. You know, I guess that's where we individually all can start, but it comes all together in a system. It's an infrastructure, it's an environment, and if we don't say anything, or if we don't step up when people are doing someone wrong, or just like, you know,
normal.
It'll be normalized, and then you see that it will just go on and on and on, and it's a shame if that's
speak up, but
yeah,
stop
obviously
being a wuss.
And pay people what they are worth, you know.
Up,
same for companies and everything. But anyway, was it worth moving to London knowing where you are now?
Yes, I don't regret anything about that. I regret certain hesitation I had, as in like, but that's me being very critical with myself. So I don't regret it. London it's also beautiful. It's a very hard place, but if you're very driven and very motivated, you can push here. So yeah.
And find a community, I guess. Find people.
Or if you don't find a creator, I've seen a lot of people creating communities all the time. It's a thing now. You create your own thing. But I mean, do your thing. Do your thing. Don't be ashamed, honestly. Like, don't overthink it. That's another good tip. And just keep an eye out. We're doing things here, so you know, check it.
I will share Tommaso's work as well, or like links and all the other stuff in the description. Maybe share a bit about your music production, like what kind of sound it is, and you know.
Those questions we'll hear once we hear the things, but
I mean, because we worked on, as you know, I hope, we worked on Unmorality. He produced the entire track, so it was a really nice experience. It was a long experience. It was sometimes very difficult.
I can be very hard about that.
I get very difficult, but it was still nice. It was very rewarding. So I'm really happy that we managed to work together, you know, and to be happy with the end result. So if you haven't heard Unmorality, definitely go and check it out. There is a video on YouTube as well, so you can go and check that out too. But yeah, maybe share a bit about your music, your style, and how you developed, like, morphed yourself into this producer that is, you know, happy with it, with its own sound. Because that's one question. Second question, do you think working as a music producer, just having that as a career, is sustainable?
Yeah, it could be. It can be. So
only only working as a music producer. Okay,
All right. So I'll answer the second question. So the second question will be, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So every time I try and grab it, she takes it. Okay, then take. So, right. So answering the second question. Let's answer the first one, because I don't know the second. But I don't really have a sound for this album, as it's crazy in its expression. It's got hip hop, it's got funk, it's got blues, it's got bass music, it's got very picture sound design kind of tracks. Yeah, so the album's coming out, Golden Era's coming out. So you'll be able to hear that soon on every social, media platform, Spotify, YouTube, blah blah. Not yet. It's still finishing. I'm still in the post-production process. Also because I'm doing crazy like 1-2 jobs at times.
Okay,
and then,
the sound. Yeah. So what's can you give us like a sneak peek?
The sound.
How would you describe your sound?
The sound, so it's definitely a hip hop vibe. Influence from hip hop, but I also play instrument into it. I've been looping and playing keyboards and synthesizers and guitars, and I've been singing, I've been rapping, I've been trying to really just vomit it all out. And it's my idea is to have Golden Era.
What does that mean?
Golden Era, it's for me, it's a paradoxical word itself, because it's bright and dark at the same time. It's golden and black, and Golden Era, it's the way, it's the yin and yang kind of concept, where you can see all the dark becomes white and all the white becomes dark, and them twisting and sort of balancing together. That's sort of give a generic sort of overview. More specific to it, there will be rapping, there will be singing, there will be performing, there will be looping. I'll be doing some live stream as well, and we'll be doing some workshop. So there's not a particular sound. You'll be able to tell that if you want to. I'm not bothered. But yeah, and then going back to our experience instead, with Unmorality, it's been really nice for me to come here and speak with you now, have a catch up after a few years, and then we're gonna share our experiences, after this, and we'll see what comes out. But Unmorality was a very good experience for me, because it was something that I wasn't used to do necessarily, as in working with an artist, envisioning sort of the pictures and the movie and the emotions that the artists want to portray. It was one of my first job where I really had to listen and be her in a way, and trying to really look with your eyes. And then you did very good at communicating what you wanted, because I think if you want to do my job, you need to have somebody that has really clear in mind what they want to transfer, what they want to move, if the sound is good or not. So even just speaking the sounds is some sort of communication. I'm picking the words to communicate, with you. I'm picking those words. So it's the same thing. And that's been super insightful, super good. And then, we won an award in 2019 from BFI, so that was
nominated. We were
nominated, yeah. So that was really rewarding, and it just felt nice that sometimes your job can be recognized and seen, and hopefully there will be a lot more to come. Also because even though I'm 31 right now, I don't know if I should say.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm 31. Yeah, I'm just starting now to feel confident enough to be a professional in this field, and really give my opinion into it, with the trying to be humble all the time, obviously, because you don't want to be arrogant, and there's way too many arrogant people, and we don't need them. We need humble people, we need real people, and they can expose themselves and not be ashamed of it. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what we're trying to do here. And
the sustainability part, like how sustainable is it to work as a producer?
How sustainable it is to work as a music producer? That's why I couldn't answer before, because it isn't still, some months you still have to go out and find jobs. I'm still in that position where I'm not signed on with Sony or Universal or anybody. So I'm in a position where I'm independent, and I'm still pushing, to kind of come up. Even though I have lots of experience in the field, as a technical skill, as a sound engineer, a music producer, pre and post production services, all of that experience. But what it really is what it really takes is for you to be ready to do it, you know, to
Yeah.
just like bring all of that you've learned, perfection it, and once you know you've got it, once you know you've got the tool, you can play it, just go and do it, you know, go and play your instrument.
Is that the goal?
Metaphorically.
Is that the goal, to get signed by like by Sony, for instance, or as a producer? Is that
No.
something that you need to look out for?
I mean, in all these years I've been producing hundreds, thousand tracks. I've never submitted anything to any label. It's just because I don't have control over what they say to me, you know. So I rather work two jobs right now, and having to deal with this. But having control, that's what we were saying before, having control of your artistic direction, rather than rather than having deadlines and listening to, like, I'd rather stay in that place where I have more freedom of expression, and if I can't express something, I don't have to force it out in a way, you know. So this album is very, very genuine and authentic, and I didn't really feel the pressure of I have to impress somebody, you know. I really want to be me in this, you know, and hopefully that comes through.
Nice. Well, I guess we've come to an end.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, Tommaso never does interviews. This is the first time.
I did short one, but not like an extensive one. I did short one, but not like an extensive one. So, yeah, sorry as well if the English is not on point.
No, that's fine.
We'll work on that.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I guess that's really it. So it was worth it to move to London to pursue your dream, basically.
Also, because you don't have to stay here forever, right? Like, I mean, you can do your own thing. You can get your inspiration, your thing. Just get whatever you can get, like, from a place like this, because it gives a lot. It takes a lot, but it gives a lot as well if you can keep your heart and your mind open. Yeah. So just get that and don't overthink it. Go for it. If you're an artist and you're scared, embrace it. You know, it's all gonna be good.
Yeah. It's gonna be a wild, bumpy ride, but it's gonna be worth it. So, and we're still growing anyway. We're not at the exactly. We're not where we want to be yet, but
we are okay with it because we have a passion and we have a vision for that.
Yeah, but we're both actively working towards where we want to go next. Absolutely, next level. So, yeah. But basically, this was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to find out. If you want to find more information about Tommaso, you didn't even mention your actual producer name.
Yeah. So my producer name or company or call it whatever you want. It's TEMPO TEP Production. TEMPO TEP. So just go on the website tempotepproduction.com and then you find the Instagram, Facebook, and everything you want. You find our morality as well. So take a look.
Okay, perfect. Well, this is it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I'll make sure to put everything in the description, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the artwork behind us. I will make sure to put all the info of the artist, Albi,
aka Baus.
I'll make sure to put his info in there too.
Aka Baus Fossati. It's important.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, that's it. So I hope you are well. I hope you go well. I hope you stay well.
I hope you well.
And I will see you in the next video. Deuces.